So right now we're at the grain dryer, and for the past couple days we've had trouble getting it fired up. It didn't want to stay lit, so we're gonna swap out a thermocouple. That should fix our problem. Once we got it lit, it usually stays lit, but it'll fight with us for a good 20 minutes of trying to stay lit. But once we got it going yesterday, it stayed going. Semi truck's full, grain cart's full, and then the gravity wagon on the other side of the grain cart is full. So gonna get all those dumped, get this fixed, and get this going.
Yeah, I can't even get my hand out.
Gotta let the Ford warm up a couple of minutes before we just start dumping at 1500 RPMs or 1800 RPMs. Might as well get that truck aired up and warmed up so we can pull it ahead. Got the thermocouple in the grain dryer. Seems to be working out. We turned it on, it's staying on, so that seemed to do the trick. Took a couple minutes to fish it through, but it's working, so simple fix. Over at the combine now. Dad's gonna stay behind and keep dumping the truck, grain cart, and gravity wagon. I'm gonna start getting this thing unhooked and greased, and then we're gonna move it. On the road now with the combine. We're only going a mile and a half, 2 miles down the road. Did about 40 acres yesterday. Right now we are working on non-tiled farms, and it is quite a bit of difference compared to what we were at a few days ago. Yeah, night and day difference. We didn't even bother bringing the grain cart out in the field, so it took all day to do 40 acres. Really slow moving, had to keep deadheading with the combine to go dump towards the driveway there. These tracks do help out a lot. If we still had the tires on the combine right now, we wouldn't have been able to work. It was a big muddy mess yesterday, and I have a feeling it's going to be the same way today and the next couple farms. That's the mess I left on the headland. I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of disking next spring. I don't think we're going to be able to touch this at all yet this fall. It would be nice to work down the corn stalks and fill in those ruts, but it's just so muddy. I don't even see how it's going to dry out. The days are too short and too cold for it to dry out to where we're able to work in it. Some of the tiled farms we're still probably going to try to do some fall tillage with, but as for right now, we're just focusing on the corn harvest. Fueled up, hooked up. I'm gonna go give this a try here. It's just water standing everywhere before I even started, so this is not gonna be pretty. Extra help today to run the grain cart, and we're going to be using this lane to get out to that backfield on the corner of that woods there. But before we do that, this ditch got kind of washed out. That cuts through the lane quite a bit over the summer from all the water we had. So it's a little too deep for a loaded grain cart. Dad's going to bring back the loader bucket and try to mellow this out. Until then, I'm just going to stay up front, closer towards the driveway where the cart's sitting right now, until that gets fixed, and move the cart out back. So far, I'm not cutting in nearly as bad as the last farm. This was no-tilled, so I think that helps out quite a bit. Of course, I'm still just on the headland here, opening up the field. This worst spot's going to be over on the east edge. It's always wet there, even on a drier year. Too wet to have the grain cart in here, I think, which is unfortunate. It slows the combine down quite a bit, but it is what it is. It's better than tearing up the fields or getting stuck. Well, here we go, dump number one. eventually we'll have the semi here parked where the grain cart is, and the grain cart's going to be driving on this grass. It's probably going to get tore up pretty bad, but it is what it is. There's nothing really we can do about it. The road's too busy, I think, to park the truck on the road and dump on the road there, and we're going to leave a muddy mess everywhere on the road constantly. So just opening everything up. Grain cart's half full now. The semi truck or gravity wagon hasn't showed up just yet. This farm, the fields are kind of broken up in a lot of little L shapes and stuff, so lots of little headlands, and kind of annoying to do with the corn head, where the grain head, if we're harvesting soybeans or wheat, acts like just a big lawnmower, where this you kind of got to get everything lined up with the rows, otherwise you start pushing corn over. About full, so I'll end here and then jump back on the lane and drive up front. That is back now with the 4320. Just gonna mellow out this little cross furrow here. It doesn't look bad on camera, but to drive a loaded grain cart through there, it's too aggressive. Gonna break something. He brought the J&M with him. The 8100 is currently hooked on to the Kilbros triple nickel 555. Roll corn planter and 8-row head, so 2 passes with the corn planter and the headlands, and 4 passes with the corn head.
Well, day 2 of weekend corn harvest. We're at my grandparents' founding farm here. And we can't take the grain cart out in the field because it's way too muddy. And we had a washout in this lane. So we're trying to keep the grain cart in the lane. Dad just fixed this washout. We're gonna try hauling 300 bushels across it, and we'll see how it does here in a minute. I'll meet Anthony over here on the side where he's opening up this field. And then we'll try it out. But looking at it, it looks pretty punky. We'll drive through it empty and see how bad it is. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I guess we'll see how this goes. I'm still parked on the lane here. We can't take the grain cart out in the field, so he's gonna dump right here. And then there's a little 8-acre field at the end of this lane he wants to try and open up.
I'm gonna get cleaned out here. I'm gonna jump in this little field behind the woods. The lane is open for the grain cart. So we're gonna start working my way up front, starting back here.
truck's full, so we're gonna take a load to the dryer.
If you can see that or not, but the gravity wagon is loaded and hit the road. The grain cart's coming to me on the trail here. I'm practically full. Little update, got that field by the woods there done. So I'm in the next field over. Half opened up, there's a little elbow that still needs to be opened up, but right now I'm just trying to get the grain cart and the trucks loaded as fast as possible at this point. Everything seems to be keeping up just fine, and I'm kind of the weakest link. That's mostly because we can't run the grain cart in the field right now. It's just too wet and muddy. Nowhere near as bad as the last farm we were at, that last 40 we did last night. I'm not sure what the status of the wet bin and the dryer are. I'm not sure how full or how much space we have left in the wet bin. At this point in time, I'm assuming it's keeping right up and hasn't really changed since we've been hauling corn in and since we fired it up first thing this morning. Not too sure if I'm actually gaining on the wet bin and grain dryer, or if it's keeping right along, or if I'm falling behind. I haven't talked to anybody in a couple hours, so I'm not sure.
Well, wet tank's full.
Well, I just talked to Dad, and it sounds like the wet bin is just about full. So plan is now just to fill up the 2 gravity wagons, the semi, the grain cart, and maybe even the combine. I don't think it's supposed to rain or anything tonight. That there's still a couple hours of work at least. I make it sound like it's easy peasy, gonna be done in 20 minutes, but I mean, we're gonna be here a little bit yet, trying to fill everything up. So far, this has been the worst spot for mud that I found on this farm. Now, we did no-till this corn, as I said before, but I do recall doing a section of this field, I believe it was right here, with the disc last spring, because we had ruts or something was going on where we had to just till it up a little bit. We didn't till it real deep, but either way, got standing water here, and I'm cutting it a little bit now. So this is by far the worst I've seen it so far. It's hard to tell on camera even, but yeah, I'm starting to make some ruts. But nowhere near as bad as that other farm yet, as I said before. Well, the wagon is loaded and Dad is leaving with the 4320. So both wagons are gone now. The truck is almost full. I'm waiting for the cart to show back up. It's dumping right now. We'll just leave the combine and cart here yet tonight. The truck and the 2 gravity wagons are gonna have to sit in the driveway at the bin site until morning. We'll let the dryer go, and then one of us will shut the dryer down, probably later tonight. We'll let it run for a few hours, but we don't like to let it run too long unsupervised, but a few hours here and there doesn't hurt. And the wet bin is right full, so it's gonna be running quite some time until that runs empty. Everybody kind of left now, so I lost a grain cart driver. So I said just park it up on by the barns there. I punched a hole in these longer rows, so I'm just gonna get dumped out on the end there. That way I don't have to walk back and forth down the lane to move the cart, but the truck is just leaving now. The grain cart's left, and once that's full, I'm probably gonna leave the combine empty to close the bin on the combine. I'll be head home. I think that's gonna do it for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.